Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 845, and it's about our Thursday deployment, Thursday travel, or a long drive to Dublin and back. It was one of those days where we needed to leave Donegal and visit Dublin area, which means about 3 hours drive one way to Dublin and then 3 hours drive back, at least that's on average. So we had to sort a couple of things out, and Elizabeth had some appointments, so we thought that Julian might lose the day of school, but fortunately or unfortunately, because of the snowfall overnight, which was a bit surprising. We knew that it's possible to happen because of the cold front that approached Donegal, but we weren't expecting, it's usually that Met Office, the meteorological services, they say that there will be a high wind or something, and they are trying to predict it, and obviously sometimes it happens, sometimes not, but there's always joking around that it's usually a scare and then nothing happens. And in this case it wasn't different. People were expecting that there would be no snow, but it fell overnight, and I was observing it because I stayed a little bit longer. And afterwards, in the morning, when we saw the beautiful sunrise, we knew we are a little bit screwed, because we are about to embark on 3 hours drive over 200 kilometers towards Dublin via different roads. Yes, there were motorways closer to Dublin, and also some national roads which are fairly kind of fast roads, but then there were also some rural roads, or roads that were in theory fast ones, but they were crossing a fairly unpopulated areas that tend to be cold and are getting a bit extreme in terms of weather. So yeah, the only highlight, because the day itself went fortunately smooth. We left Donegal much earlier with about 1.5-2 hours of buffer to account for any problems or slow drive due to slippery conditions or things like that. But we ended being early in Dublin, even though we stopped at the gas station, got our coffees twice and whatever. So we had plenty of room to be late, and we weren't, which was great. But the day in Dublin itself was just regular thing. Nothing happened. Nothing worth mentioning. And on the way back to Donegal, we were driving mostly in below zero conditions, but fortunately temperature wasn't affecting yet the surface, so the road was good to drive, and we reached the home safely. But the main highlight, and that's the most important thing, was on the way to Dublin, just as the sun rose, there was something magical leaving Donegal and going through the Pettigo Plateau towards Northern Ireland's border. All of those areas became white, including mountains, the Bluestack Mountains, and all the surrounding areas. And that Whiteland, as I called the episode, was such a magical view when we were just driving through, seeing all those trees completely white, the grass covered in snow, the mountains, the hills, everything was white. Even those small lakes that are along the way, they froze just enough to hold the layer of snow on top of them. So it was just something surreal for this area in Donegal, because we are close to the ocean, so the temperatures are milder. That means that summers are usually a bit cooler than the rest of Ireland, but also the winters are a little bit warmer than the Midland. So we don't usually get a chance to get snow, and this time we got plenty of it. The rest of Ireland surprisingly wasn't that snowy. About halfway we started seeing almost very little to zero snow. But on the way, when we were going to that I keep saying Pettigo Plateau, which is quite unpopulated area, we stopped by, and I had a drone with me, the DJI Air 3S, and I put it up, and I filmed a bit of that footage, and you can see it for yourself. I am going to stitch it on top of this episode. So thank you very much for tuning in. Get ready for a minute or two of lovely views of Bluestack Mountains in Ireland, just the west coast of Ireland, in snow, which is not very often to be seen. And I hope you have a great rest of the day or afternoon or evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Stay tuned and see you again tomorrow.